sorry there. Sometimes it just takes, one sort of dramatic moment to flip things around. And it kind of felt like Haas's inside the park home run was that. You'd already done some good things, but that felt like it really ignited you all the way going into the second game. Did it seem that way sort of to you?
Yeah, and we were saying that. We said we're close, guys, and and we talked about this last night. It's when you're struggling a little bit, the tendency is to press, and it just sometimes does. It takes one guy to get it going, and then that loosens everybody up. But yeah, that clearly was a big hit in that first game, and kind of ignited and had a kind of really a calming effect that allowed guys to relax a little bit at the plate. But yeah, that was a huge one for us for sure.
Jacob?
Tracy, the sixth inning, the bottom of the sixth inning in the first game, you guys were really great at just moving guys over and putting guys on. There was the bunt in that inning, the sacrifice fly to score a run. What was that like for you to see that? Because I know that you had been talking about the guys just kind of settling in and being able to move guys over and be calm at the plate. So that must have been a good inning for you.
Yeah, I thought our situational hitting for the most part the entire day and evening was really good. That was a key for us. And as it goes on, when we're getting a sac fly, you're going to pop a double and a single here as we play. But I thought our guys did a really, really good job of creating runs through productive outs and get them on, get them over, get them in. We talk with the guys about that all the time. And everybody did their job, and that's something that we strive to do. That's something that the guys work really hard on. And truly, it's going to be probably more the blueprint of our offense than laying back waiting for a 3-run homer. So our guys really embraced that and did an excellent job of that today.
Jack?
Yeah, Coach, in that fourth inning tonight in the second game, you guys kind of lost the zone with Eric at the end of his outing and then Brock coming in. Are you concerned at all about that going forward?
Not really. I mean, it was you look at the total number of innings that we played up to this point. Eric's a good pitcher. It's going to happen. You know that as a coach, you're not going to be perfect all the time, and it happened tonight. But Eric's, I think, one of the better pitchers in the country. He's going to come back from that. I think what is worth pointing out too is you got a bunch of guys out here who've never touched a college baseball field before, and each time they go out, success or failure, that's one more notch in the experience belt. So we're not going to be hesitant to give Brock Peary the baseball again. He's going to be a big piece of what we're doing. Jared Glenn, in my opinion, was again, guy first time that he's in a college game and shuts down an inning that was going south in a hurry and comes in and does an excellent job. So he grew up tonight. And each time they do that, Brady Corrigan, who hasn't been on the mound, and of course Brady's pitched here before in years past, but just those guys being ready to go, I thought was certainly the key to this thing tonight.
Jonah?
And then speaking of experience, you counted on Ethan Long to finish it off in the ninth inning of that first game, and there was some runners on, faced some a little bit of trouble there. Can you just talk about what you saw from a freshman finishing that off? What did it take?
Well, if you're around Ethan Long for 5 minutes, you can tell that he's a competitive dude. He's wired differently, in a good way. He's not afraid, and if you get to him, and if you're going to have to beat him, he's not going to give it to you, and that's why we're comfortable giving him the ball in those real high leverage situations, because he's a tremendously competitive athlete, and he wants the baseball. And those are the guys you want when the game's on the line to either win with them or lose with them. You're going to feel comfortable when you go to bed at night, because you know that they're not going to lose it out of fear. And he did a great job in that first game.
Alex?
Hey, Coach, staying on with pitching, in the first game with Tyler, it seemed like there was a lot of longer at-bats, a lot of foul balls that he kind of had to grind through and win those battles. What did you see from him to have him be able to sort of avoid that hard contact today?
Well, for credit them. I mean, they're scrappy at the plate, but he's, and I thought about it's funny you say that, because I thought about that. My goodness, they're fouling off a lot of baseballs, but I loved how he kept his composure and still stayed in the zone and stayed aggressive in there. And the one thing about Tyler, if you just look at him in his short time with the program, guys don't square him up a lot. And I know there's data and stuff like that on the spin rate, but he's got elite spin rate, which is usually equates to a lot of swing and misses and not solid contact. And I think you saw that tonight.
Nick?
We're sort of speak on Brock Peary. He had a couple walks and then he was really pulled. Can you just kind of explain a little more why after the 2 walks he had, he decided to pull the trigger on when he did?
I missed that.
You just asked why he pulled Brock.
Oh, you asked him. You asked me why we pulled Brock. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, after the couple walks that he had in the situation that he was in.
Well, I mean, you're as a coach, as a head coach, you're trying to balance, giving guys experience, but also not at the expense of a win or a loss. And we don't have a lot of history seeing Brock in games. We're 6 games into the season. He's been on the mound one other time in a game. So we see him in practice, but as everybody knows, the game is different than practice. So the only way you're going to learn about players, the only way you're going to learn about pitchers is you got to put them in the game in various scenarios to see that. So we put him in another crucial situation. A week ago, Friday, he did an excellent job in a really high leverage situation. This weekend, he didn't. But we got to continue to learn the personnel and game time. And like I said earlier, we're not going to hesitate giving him the baseball again. He's a good pitcher.
A few more questions. Jacob?
You mentioned the get him on, get him over mentality that you guys have been preaching. Did you feel like in the first game today that was kind of the first time this season that you really saw it to the level that you wanted it to be? Because you'd mentioned in the previous games that the team was kind of scuffling offensively, and today it didn't really feel that way. Is this kind of the breakout day in your opinion?
Well, we've still got room for improvement because we let some ABs get away even today late in the game, but it was progress, and that's what you look for, particularly early in the season. You're out there. This is, game time. We're 6 games in at this point, and I think every day you look, are you incrementally getting better? And I do. I think we got better in the situational stuff today. And like I said before, as guys settle in and get more comfortable, guys understand what the role is. Some of those pull ground balls or sack flies or whatever are going to be base hits and doubles. But I loved our mentality of buying into the process of what they were supposed to do, and the results, I think, reflected that.
Olivia?
Hello, Coach. At the beginning of the season, you said not to read too much into like position changes and that kind of thing. But I was just wondering, because I almost wondered if Kai Murphy was going to come out in right field that second game. Was there a reason why he didn't come out in right field and stayed at that pinch hitter position?
That he didn't start? Was that the question? Was there a reason he didn't start?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, again, they started a left-hander. We wanted to see some other guys, and truth be told, I'd said to the coaches between games, and although it wasn't probably the best matchup, I said Cade Higgins is going to play come hell or high water that last, because I wanted to see him. I wanted to see Cade. I haven't seen Cade in a game. And so, unfortunately, Kai's position was sacrificed at that point. But Kai's a competitive guy. Kai's going to be a big part of what we're doing. But, yeah, the move was to learn personnel. I wish that we had the luxury, and I guess in all reality, I do have the luxury of making one lineup the entire way, but it's tough when you have so many young guys, so many freshmen that we've not seen play in a game. It's that tough balancing act that I'm talking about. So we didn't start Kai because we wanted to see Cade play.
Last question, Jeff.
You talked about some things that didn't really go well late in the first game, and that included some communication issues at first base and then trying to throw out the lead runner. And in the first game, you accomplished both those things. So do you feel like you kind of got that message across and they were paying attention?
Well, that was a talking point from last night. I mean, if you remember the play, Haas is sitting over here waiting. But if you remember the play in the ninth inning, it was a hard bunt. And again, he's playing a different position. It's a position he hasn't played yet. Yes, partly his fault, but part of it is that he's not played. He's not comfortable there yet. But we talked about in that situation, let's play to win. Let's not fear the result. Let's not take the easy way. And he did what he was instructed to do in terms of getting an out. But if you can get the lead out, let's play to win. Let's have the confidence to do that. And, the fact that Ethan, I thought that was a key. If he doesn't do that, they probably tie it up in the ninth. So yeah, I think it was a really good adjustment we made from last night of just not letting the nerves, not letting the inning of the game dictate how we play, or play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And if they're going to give you an out on the lead out, let's take it. And like I said, if he doesn't do that tonight, we probably don't win. But it was a point of emphasis to your question. Yeah.